I think that is everything all sorted. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. You got me, Jimmy, on comms once again. This is round 2 of the Formula 2 CDR. This week we are in Mexico. Last week, a few cracking battles last week on track. New addition to the league, just Dave. First race for the F2, putting it straight on pole position there. Had quite a good race actually in the feature, finishing P5. I think that's not too bad for your first. Great battles on track from who was it now? It was Luke and Rick for that final podium position. It turned out to be good 5 or 6 laps of side-by-side action through with these two, so would be see if we get the same again this week in Mexico. People splitting the fastest laps, Nerf Pack last week, and who was the other one? Rick and Nerf Pack, one each for the fastest laps. Rick for the sprint, 1:46.3, and Nerf Pack for the feature, 1:45.5. Second and half from the fastest laps last week. Let's see what we have this week in Mexico. Turn that down slightly. So, after week 1 in the standings, Northern Nat is out in front by 1 point to Oliver Ritchie. So, that is very close after one race, 1 point separating them. Let me turn that down. So, top 3 in the standings at the moment are Oliver Ritchie, Northern Nat, and Rick. Luke had a bit of a disappointing sprint race, disqualifying at turn 1. A bit of a game bug there, really. Wasn't his fault entirely, getting the penalties and disqualifying. Evening Mechanical, nice to see you in the chat, mate. Yeah, a bit unfairly disqualified in my opinion there, but what can I do after that? Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate one for Luke. He managed to pull it back with a P3 in the feature race, so alls weren't too bad in the end for Luke. Kept himself in the running. Got a couple of drivers again missing this week. Wookie unavailable. Who else is missing? Just a couple. Oh, we have a wet qualifying in Mexico. It's going to be that's going to be tricky for the drivers. Let's see how they try and navigate this quite technical circuit. You've got a stadium section of Sector 3. That will be fun in the wet for the boys, especially on that one-shot quali as we do in the F2. And just Dave pull it out in the wet, as well as the dry, as he did last week. See who these conditions suit a bit more. If we've got Clay racing tonight, see if he can have a bit of a better qualifying. Seems to do plenty of overtakes and has good race pace, but is struggling to get that 1 lap pace out of that car. See how he does tonight, if I can get on board with him. Get on board with Clay as he takes it down the start-finish straight, full wets on that F2 car. As he's going to throw it into turn 1, choose his braking point. A couple of 90-degree corners to start the lap. Get them tyres working straight away. They will be very cold does well to keep it in track limits there. Nice bit of a curve usage on the exit. No DRS for this lap, obviously. It's a tricky section at the end of sector 1 here. Quite a tight chicane on the exit as it sends it down to the double apex of turn 8 and 9. And a fast section now through the S's. Does he keep it all in track limits? He does make sure of it. He knows a lot of people could screw this one-shot qualified up in the wet air this evening if that had gone off track. 1 second, I've just got rid of everything there. I think that might have been an invalidation. Nope, not invalidated. That looked like he went wide. Comes to this tricky section now. Are we going to have a dry sprint race? People running different setups for the race. If it's dry, it could take a bit of wing out of it, but if it's going to be wet, you're going to want to pile that down for some. Around the final corner plate. See where this puts him. Puts himself P7 as Rick takes pole position. A 1:38.3 from Rick, a 1:38.5 from Luckman. Harold's up there as well with 38.6. Were disqualified. Must have gone wide at some point. Last week's pole sitter, just Dave, also not setting a lap time. As we don't... Oh, Luke is P4. That's not a bad starting position for Luke. I'll just change that setting in a moment. A bit of that on board. Top 7 separated by 1 second. So that is quite tight for wet conditions. That we do have a lot closer in the dry, but that is not too bad for the top 10. 1.5 seconds separating the top 10. Richie starting in P10. That is a bit of a shock there for Richie. A bit of a shock as well for Just Dave, who we know has got quite a bit of pace. Starting down in P7, biggest shock of all is Worth leading the championship. He's going to be starting at the back of the grid. Are we going to have rain, or is it going to have brightened up now for this sprint race? And we are dry. Dry for the time being. We're going to have Richie on pole for the sprint race. That's not bad for Richie starting at the front of the pack. He's got incredible speed as well. Last year's championship winner, of course. He'll be starting from pole position. He'll have Nerf Pack just behind. Chip starting P3. Clay will be on P4. I wouldn't write Clay off for a solid sprint race this evening. He's got a couple under his belt from last season. Yet to find one up to now. Obviously a couple of races in, of course. Race 2 of 14 this season for CDR, season 15. Next week takes us to Silverstone. That'll be a one to watch. Catch us there at the same time, 2 o'clock, Tuesday, 8:30. Wow, a bit tired tonight, lads. It's been a long day. There we go, lads. Just about to get the formation lap underway for this evening's sprint race. I think it's the 11 laps around the circuit. So, see what tyres tonight the lads will be using. Oh, Clay always is the outlier on the tyres in this F2 season. Done it quite a few times last season, made it work on the softer compounded tyre. This tonight, here in Mexico, he's going for the super softs. Everybody else on the soft tyres. Starting P4, we'll stay on board with, well, we'll keep an eye on Clay in these opening couple of laps. Can he make the move on the soft runners out in front? He's going attacking for that win tonight. Great back in the high techs. P2, P4, got Chip Hazard and Oliver Ritchie, also teammates, out in pole position and third. Everyone taking the grid slots. No one missing the marks by the looks of that. Everyone will be getting an even start. It's all about reaction times, getting that throttle precise. Lights out and away we go. Bit of a slow start from Clay at P1. Nerf pack could be up the inside in turn 2. Chip's also on the look in P3. Great start from Chip, trying to go 3 wide into turn 1. Chip makes the move on Nerf pack. Clay's also just lost the place to Harvey. That's a big loss for Clay. And we've got quite a few cars going off track. Keep on board with this. There's Ritchie and Chip up into P2, Nerf pack dropped down to P3 and all of that. Is Harvey going to make the move on Nerf pack going into the chicane there? No, he doesn't. And Fake Scouser trying up the inside of Clay. Over Fake Scouser has spun. That is him to the back of the grid. Mechanicals dropped to the back in a bit of a skirmish there. We've not seen Rick also getting passed by Max Mario up into P8. Great battle in this opening lap. Rick and Chip a second separating the top two, the front two. He's got Harvey defending from Clay. Lutman going deep in the background. That's going to put Harold in a good position. All these cars battling. Everyone in DRS up to P11 of Josh. As Ritchie starts lap 2 with the fastest lap out in front. Teammate Chip Hazard behind, P2. Nerf pack P3. Harvey P4, great start from Harvey. Clay on them super soft, just hasn't made that tyre choice work as Harvey goes deep into turn 1. Clay had to take avoiding action there. Max and Rick swapping positions once again. Northern Nat were already up into P13 from P18. Who's that looking at? That's Luke after a bit of contact. Fighting at the back with just Dave. Got Mechanical, that's Kane going off. Mechanical 5 seconds back. It's not a sprint race to remember for Mechanical. A safety car can change everything though. As the cars go through the S's. Fastest section of corners on the track. Is anyone going to try up the inside? No. We've thought about it on Dave. Got Richard coming around the final corner. Everyone staying in situ in that pack there as a full grid other than Mechanical coming round the final corner there. Bit of a gap now from Harvey in DRS. Chips trying to make the move on his teammate Richie. thinks better of it, just tucks in behind. He was very close to making that move. Rick back past Max, down into turn 1. Max trying to go around the outside, trying to switch back. Got Lutman close to the back of Harvey, pulls to the outside, fully alongside, gets that move done nicely. Harvey doesn't fight that one too hard. Gonna have Clay behind him if he's not careful. Harvey makes it past Lutman there. Great bit of battle from these two drivers. Oh, got contact in the background, that's Clay. Clay's spinning in the S's, Fate Scouser also, oh it's Harold also coming a cropper there. So Max and Rick moved up to P6 and 7 in all of that. Just Dave and Mechanical Clay at the back of the grid now. That's not what he would have wanted on them tyres. I think he just lost it through the S's there, collected the car behind, and then you become a bit of a passenger who he is now boxing. Clay 10-second time penalty. That is a pit and quit. Oh, we've got the two teammates there coming together at turn 1. Richie off the track because Richie's lagging out there. Don't know what happened. Looked like Nerfpack went through him for a second. Yeah, that's bad connection from Richie, if you ask me. It's not what you need when you're leading a race. Chip now finds himself out in P1. 10 laps to go. He's got his teammate just to hold him up against Nerfpack. 8 tenths separating first and third. No Fandango putting big pressure on Max. Is everyone going to make it through? It's putting big pressure on Kieran. Is he going to try at the inside? Thinks better of it. Just a bit too far back, basically pushing him through the sector 3. Richie just 4 tenths behind Chip. Is he going to make the move for the lead with DRS? Is Chip going to fight him? Chip keeps to the inside, well, keeps to the outside, doesn't change line, lets Richie through. Richie back into P1. Rick's just made it past Harvey, up into P4. Got Kieran and Luke. Luke's just finally made it past, going into turn 1. He's going to have just Dave all over his gearbox. Just roundabout now. It's just Dave going to try up the inside of Kieran. Seen a few moves made here already. Oh, nearly hits the back of Kieran. Harold's going to be looking at that, rubbing his hands together for the opportunity to try and get past just Dave. Two of them going side by side through the double right-hander. A little bit of contact there. People trying their best to stay out of each other's exhaust there. This battle is these three. Oh, Dan. He's pushing Max through. Rich has dropped his teammate Chip by 1.2 seconds already, setting the new fastest lap of the race. Fate Scouser, is he going to try and line the move up on Josh? We've got an Invicta with Matt, Dan trying to go at the inside of Max. Just Dave does try and get past Kieran. Kieran had a bit of a moment there because he was fighting with. Oh no, it was just for that further up the grid route. Mechanical, still 2 seconds off the back of Harold. That's Lutman dropping down places. Not an enjoyable track, says Clay. Yeah, I can imagine it's not one of the best in what's going on there with Luckman. Luckman's dropping back. Josh and Scouts got through there. Just Dave picking the first penalty of the race. Rick's going to try the move on Chip. He's only 2.5 tenths off. After just missing out in the podium in the feature race last week, after winning the sprint race, wants another podium. He finds himself up into P2, 1.8 seconds separating him and Oliver Ritchie out in front. 7 laps remaining, easy doable, as Rick got the pace he had last week. Get himself another sprint win on the calendar. Taking a lot of curve. Positions gained. Rick finds himself from P10 all the way up to P2. Rich is where he started, so is Chip. Nerfpack's down 2. Harvey's where he started in P5. No Fandango is up 6. Max Mario's up 4. Josh Gaming's up 7 places, up in P8. That's a great opening 7 laps from Josh. Scouser down 3, Luckman up down 1. We're not doing too bad in P11 from the back of the grid. He's up 7 places. Luke finds himself down 5. That is not what Luke would have wanted. He's out of the point scoring positions at the moment. Top 10 obviously scoring in the sprint. Just Dave's up 4. He's down 1 unfortunately, so is Kane. Mechanicals where he started down in P16. No gains made from Mechanical tonight. Harold's down 9 after having a bit of a moment somewhere and losing an end plate, I think, on that near side. Rick's just pulled that lead out from Richie to 1.3 seconds. That's 4 attempted gains in the opening sectors. Let's have it. He's had a moment somewhere. He's dropping like a stone. Luke's going to be the next to make it past. Just see him dropping there on the boards. Nerfpack putting big pressure on Chip Hazard for that final podium spot. Only 4 attempts off as we start lap 9. Just coming through the tricky stadium section, sweeping final corner, try and get on the power as early as you can. Got Max and Noel Fandangle side by side there. Scouts are going side by side with Josh going into turn 1. Josh just keeps that 7th place. Just a bit too far. Keeps it on the inside though. Josh leaves in the racing room there. Fair, clean racing from Josh. Didn't have to leave him the room. He wasn't alongside. Would have been a very come up from a long way back that move if he'd have made it. Josh though not taking any chances there. Josh is rapid through the S section there. Nerfpack almost 2.5 attempts behind, but it's just not close enough at the end of that straight to make the move. Chip doing well to hold him off. As Rick's come right to the gearbox of Oliver Ritchie in just 2 laps. That gap is down to 0.5 a second. I'm going to see a move for the race lead on lap 10. Rick dives to the inside, dives to the outside of Richie. Richie can't do much to defend against that, and that is Rick up into P1 from P9. Last week's driver of the week, taking pole position and coming from P10 all the way up to P1. He's putting in another driver of the day performance up to now. We're up into P9, also doing well in the sprint to try and grab a couple of points after that pretty poor qualifying by his standards. I will pick up a time penalty now, but he's at 16th and no points for that far back in the grid. Doesn't really matter to him. He's got a 5.5 second gap out in front of him to Kane, so 4 laps remaining. These the front two now dropped Chip by 6.1 seconds. League of their own, these two tonight. Even Luke's not really made the impressions we thought he would. Dan's got past Nerfpack. After Chip holding Nerfpack up, Dan's finally made the move on Nerfpack there. Now it's him trying to get past Chip for that final podium position. Chip getting a bit squirrely there on the exit. Dan's just 3 tenths behind. He's going to try and make the move on Chip. Dan pulls to the inside. He's in front before the braking zone gets that move done. Up into P3 goes Dan. We're just made up into P8. He's just got past Max. He's going to try. He's got Fake Scoutsman Josh just up the road. Them two battling will play into Wur's favour there. Just allows him to catch up as Luckman's getting past on Max as they're going side by side in the double right-hander. This battle for the final point scoring place is between 5 different cars, all within DRS. This is this little bit of a train going back here. Who's going to pinch that final point? Is Luckman going to be able to defend from the 4 drivers behind? As that was Fake Scouts are going a bit deep into the stadium section there. He's going to try and make the move on Josh though. By looks of that, he will have that move done. Goes to the inside. Is anybody else trying to make the moves? Wur's made it past Max, so was Luckman. Max losing 2 places. He's the one now defending that 10th spot. He's got Luke, Dave, Harvey, Kieran behind, sniffing for that final point. Any mistake now from Max, as Luke does finally make it past. Luke will be wanting to get up to Luckman. We know what sort of racing driver Luke is. Doesn't want to be down in P10. He wants to be as far up the grid as he possibly can. Kane picked up a 3-second time penalty. Richie a bit closer on Rick this time round. Coming through the final couple of corners. As Rick just got the speed. He was within that 1 second going through DRS detection point. We'll have it open. 7 tenths behind Rick. Weaving down the straight, trying to break the toe from Richie. Richie pulls to the outside. Going into turn 1, too wide. The front 2 at the moment as Richie finally does get back past Rick. Rick's giving a bit of a tap on the exit of turn 2. Rick's going to get DRS now going into turn 4. Thinks about the move, pulls back in behind, just a bit too far behind to be any more of a threat there to Richie. Rich looks in control at this moment in time. This lap and the final lap remaining. Still got this battle going down for P10 at the moment. Getting caught up in this that we missed the battle for P1. As these two come around the final corner, there's only 0.2 seconds in. Oh shit. One of the front runners in P4 picks up a 3-second time penalty. That's going to tumble him down the order. Not when you want to pick up a time penalty, as these two are nose to tail going to start the final lap here in Mexico for the sprint race. 1 lap remaining. Richie, who will take the win tonight? Richie does make that move down the main straight, puts himself back up into P1, and it's at the time to make the move. He knew he wanted to have the DRS on the final lap. The DRS zones are just too... he's going to the inside to defend the inside, making Richie go around the outside, but Richie's way too far back to even think about making a move. Good defensive drive from Rick there, keeping to that inside line, trying to force Richie outside, but just had the speed anyway, could have kept the optimal racing line. Harvey dropping down to P14. Harvey had a moment somewhere early on in the race. Just keep our attention on the front two runners. An 8.7 gap to Dan in P3. Great drive from Dan from like P9, P10 to pick up a podium. Now P12 for Dan, up 9. We're up 11, up into P7. That's a great result from Were. But as we come round the final corner, Rick is going to take the sprint race here in Mexico this evening. 2 sprint races out of 2. Richie also finds himself on the podium, down up into P2. Dan 8.8 seconds behind, takes that final spot. Nerf Pack and Fake Scouser jump in front of Chip with that 3-second time penalty. Chip finds himself in P6. Were great drive from him from the back of the grid up into P7. Whitman, where he started in P8. Luke P9 and Josh, the final point scoring position in P10. Rick, he had a 3-second gap from lap 9 to try and catch Rich out in front. Did that, a couple of overtakes in between the two of them. Rick comes out on top, and we've got it all to go again. Let's have a look. Final results. Rick taking pole, dropping down to P10. Fastest lap, takes the win. Richie P2, Nova Dangle round out the top 3. Just the one retiree from Clay. Started on them super softs, had a bit of a terrible start, got a bit caught up in turn 1, then in the S's, had a bit of contact. Only retiree from that race. As it looks like another sunny race in Mexico this evening. After a wet qualifying, the rain's kept off. Doesn't look like it's going to be raining anytime soon. Bit of blue sky peeking through the clouds. Guys sorting out fuel load. Tiny bit of setup tinkering, and we'll be ready to go for the feature race of round 2. So that is also Rick's second fastest lap this season. Is Nerf Pack going to take it again? 2 each, or we're going to have a new fastest lap in the stat board? Constructor standings after round 1. We've got Campos in P1, 41 points. We have Road in P2 with just 40 points, 1 point separating them as well. We've got Dams P3, 31 points, just 9 behind. We have the Vars, 24 points, so that's 7 points behind. High Tech, 23 points, Trident 22, Invicta 21, Prima 21, MP Motorsport 18, and ART is on 13 at the bottom. So, still all to play for, man. Very, very tight. Every point in this feature race does score, so it's worth sticking around. Every place matters in this championship. And after last week, we had battles all the way till the checkered flag. Guys, just about to start this formation lap. Have we got a split of strategies this evening? Let's have a look at them. We do indeed. Softs, super softs, who has chose the right call. Do they want the launch off the line or the quicker tyre at the end with the low fuel load? We'll see what comes out on top in about half an hour's time. We're down in P18. Going boldly on the super softs at the back, thinking he wants to make a couple of places straight off the starting blocks. Not just Dave, last week's pole sitter. He's down in P17 mechanical after a dreadful sprint race then. He's just starting in P16. Josh had a good sprint race, good few battles there we've seen. He's up in P15. Kane we didn't see much of. He's starting in P14. And we've got CDR Kieran. Had a good little battle with Luke before. He's up in P13. No Fandangle finds himself on the podium. Is a reserve for tonight. Can he make his way onto that podium for this feature race? And we've got Max Mario. Had a good close battles all the way through there. He's starting P11. Alder Ritchie fighting for the win with Rick. He's starting P10. Nerf Pack P9, Chip also fighting for the win at some point, P6, Clay DNF in the sprint, he started P7. Harvey had a great first couple of laps, he's in P6, Fake Scouts P5, Luke P4, Harold's P3, Ruckman P2 and Rick on pole. 5 lights are out and away we go for the feature race here in Mexico. CDR, round 2 is away. Clay's already made it past Harvey. Everyone charging down to turn 1. Quite a long run into turn 1. Everyone picking the braking points. 3 wide. We've got Harvey, Richie going 3 wide. Richie's losing a couple of places in that little squabble. A Chip going off track. Max trying to make it through. Rick's kept P1 from Luckman. Got Fake Scouts going up the inside of Harold, but Luke also makes it through. Luckman and Nerfpack and Dan, sorry, going side by side with the double right hand apex there. top 5 are as they were. Already a 1 second gap out to Luckman from Rick. Everyone else within 3 or 4 attempts. Is Dan going to try the move on Max? Max goes defensive to the inside. Everyone's staying in situ for the time being. Rick stretching his legs out in front. Dan was close. He's already up 5 positions in that opening couple of laps. He's all over the back of Nerf Pack, tapping him there. Looks like he kept his wing intact as Kane's dropped to the back. Kieran's also dropped to the back. Just Dave, Josh Gaming, Nerf Pack, all within a second and a half. Chip's just lost a place to Harvey. P7 for Harvey now. Still down 1 to Clay. We've got big contact from Dan. Dan's out. Max is out. Rich is out as well. Rich is at the back of the grid. That crash has just gave Rick a big boost in confidence, knowing a big championship rival is just finds himself in P17. Still a long way to go in this race yet, of course. As we're up 9 places, up into P9. Great opening 3 laps from work. This is the battle at the moment. Got P3, 4, 5 and 6. Luke Luckman. A new driver in Fakes Galser and Clay. Who can... how can we trust the driving? These guys still learning how to race and battle each other on track, knowing how much room they want to leave. Just take time to get used to racing new people on track. These Fakes Galser are settled right in. I will try to break the toll from Luke. Luke's got his DRS open. And we're going to have a change for P2. Luke does make that move. Luckman thought about the inside. More than likely trying to trick Harold into a mistake there, as Josh has just made it past Chip Hazard. He's up into P9. Oh, we've got Mechanical going up the inside on just Dave. Between the 2 Invictors, but he's got Dan up his inside. Mechanical and Dan going side by side there. Dan coming out on top. Scouts just that bit closer to Luckman this time round. Is Luckman going to try the move on Harold? He's not. Scouts really did catch him there in the braking zone. Just Dave tumbling down the order at the back. That's just Dave. Did he have a bit of a moment in the staging section of Sector 3 there? Now he finds himself 1.8 seconds off the back of the pack. slide from Harold. Lookman's going to see that. Lookman trying to go up the inside. Lookman on them super softs. He's got the two guys on softs in front. His tyres will be starting to feel a bit worse than them two. Battle here between Harvey and Clay. Harvey putting the pressure on. We have work charging through the pack. Just 1.5 seconds off them guys. Those Kane's the first one for multiple track limit warnings. That's 3 seconds of Kane. Got Fake Scouts on Muttman up the inside, side by side, coming down the pit straight. Both have DRS. It's going to be last on the brakes. Nice side by side battle through the chicane by the two guys, both keeping it on track. Fake Scouts does get that move done. Lookman's going to have DRS. Thinks about diving up the inside, thinks better of it. Bit of a tap there. Very easy to do with these cars. Braking is nowhere near as efficient as the F1 cars. That is Fake Scouts are through. Harold P2 just over that second mark to Rick out in P1. Now he is in within that second. Can he keep it through the stadium section to get that DRS? Mechanical pack, bit of a squabble going on here. Has got the first person pitting, is that mechanical? It is Chip Hazard in the pits. There's also fixed a 10-second time penalty up for speed in the pit lane. That is a great ruiner for Chip. Just 4 tenths separating Harold and Rick out in front. 5 tenths back is Luke. Rick being put under some pressure here. Didn't have this in, didn't have it as much in the sprint off Richie, but Richie's 42 seconds off the lead, off the back of the pack. Sorry, I think he might have just made a pit stop. Yeah, he's catching the rapid. Yeah, just Chip and Richie into the pits. As Dan picks up a track time warning, time penalty for track limits. Jesus Christ, get your words out, mate. Oh. Got the leader Rick into the pits. First one off the super softs into the pits. Lookman's picked up a time penalty as well. That is big news. So's Clay. Wow, this is people need to learn to slow down before the pit entry, boys. That's a big penalty there for Lookman. Josh is the last of the super soft runners. Looks like he's got no grip whatsoever coming out of that first chicane. Let's see how these two tyres look. So much more grip there coming out of that. How long can he keep this softs going for? We've got 12 laps remaining. Harold's now in P1. Race leader Rick, he's just boxed. He's down in P12. He's got himself a good gap though to put some sector times in. He's got a 9.8 second gap to Max in front. That is very good thinking there from Rick. Give himself clean air. Just bring them soft tyres in gently. No defending, no attacking, just full clean laps there as Josh now decides to pit. Everyone above him is on the soft, so different strategies for these boys. Harold's just only 3 tenths in front of Luke. Oh, Luke's got past Harold. That's what's happened there. Luke is a new race leader. Missed that on board with Rick. Sorry, Luke. I think I've got an agenda against him. I really don't. Absolute top driver. I just seem to miss everything he does. It's not a bad thing being silent. They always say if you don't notice a player in a football game, because Zombie had a good one. Luke is always there. Clean performances. Just about to cross the start finish straight for halfway point in this race. Is Harold going to try and gain? No ERS, of course. He's gaining. Is he going to be close enough? Luke was just maxed out there and just not. Didn't look like he was going anywhere. Nerf pack pits now. Cracking battle out in P1 and 2 at the moment as Rick sets a new fastest lap of a 1:25.6. His gap is now 7.8 seconds. Got clear Nerf back into the pits. Luke's not letting Harold scamper off into the distance, still keeping within that half a second. Luke's finally made the move. Back past him down the main straight. DRS helped him with that one. 9 laps to go. Is it going to be? Well, we've got pit stops to come yet anyway from the top 7 as Rick takes 4 tenths out of his fastest lap. Doesn't want to take too much out of them soft tyres. Still 9 laps to go. Few gaps spread out at the moment. Mechanical yet to pit up into P6. He's up 10 places. Not bad from Mechanical. He's on the back end of the front runners, all on the softs. He's got Rick on the softs now, but has pitted from the super softs. Luckman pitted, but does have that 10-second time penalty. Were yet to pit, am I correct? No, Were has pitted, so he's 9 seconds off Rick. He is in that 10 seconds to Luckman though, so he'll be gaining that place if he can stay there. We've got Luckman, we've got Mechanical putting Kieran under big pressure. Going side by side through the stadium section, don't see that very often. Kieran does make it through. A big slide on the exit of the final corner. That's going to hamper him all the way down that straight. And Mechanical will have DRS to help him out. This is going to be Mechanical taking the lead as Luke, Harold, Harvey and Dan all box on lap 12. So Mechanical decides to stay out, Kieran decides to stay out. Rick back up into P3 now, only 2.6 seconds off the pace of the front guys. Rick's played his cards absolutely spot on tonight. He might even overtake him on track if these boys decide to stay out for another lap. I don't see it though. 8 laps to go. We've got a yellow flag as well. Just picks up a time penalty as well. Quite a few time penalties on the board as Richie retires from session. That's unfortunate for Richie. Now look at the penalties. 1, 2, 3, 4 10-second time penalties. That's for Luke, Lookman, Clay and Chip. Chip's got an extra 3, so that's 13 for Chip. Mechanical were No Fandangle, Nerfpack, Kane, Dave and Max Mario all on 3 seconds. So all we've got is Harvey, Josh, Fake Scouser, Harold, Rick and Kieran without time penalties. As Rick is going to try and make the move on Kieran, the boys have decided to stay out as Fake Scouser puts in a new fastest lap. Going trying to go 3 wide into turn 1. That's Kieran going deep. Rick's past Kieran. Rick's made 2 overtakes in the space of 2 corners there. Takes the lead from Mechanical. Them soft tyres must be screaming now for them two. Kieran went wide, going deep into turn 1. Battling Mechanical. As Max now retires as well. Cancel the battlefield, boys. Don't be retiring. Come on, lads. Not a bad constructors weekend for Rodin, as Rick and Kieran are going to find themselves on the podium this evening. If Kieran can keep... Oh, he's not pitted yet, actually. No, never mind. That is... I'm just full of waffle there. Don't take me on. Rick out in P1. Quite a few gaps opened up now. Closest battle on track at the moment is Fate Scouser on Harold for P5. Don't know why it's not saying pit next to them two guys, but they are in the pits. Mechanical and Kieran. Got Fate Scouser making the move on Harold up the inside. Harold keeps that 3rd place. Ten-second time penalty. Can he try and stretch that gap? We've got 7.8 seconds. Got these two still going at it. Fate Scouser does make the move on Harold eventually. Got Fake Scouser past Harold now. Is he going to get himself on the podium for the first time of CDR? Got 5 laps to go. Could be getting a P2 at this rate. Luke will be kicking himself for that pit lane time penalty. Harold's trying to make it past Gauss. Does make the move. He's now up into P3. Josh just being overtaken by Dan there in the middle half of the grid. Another battle between these 4 or 5 drivers. All have penalties as well. All have big penalties. Looks like there's a bit of a tap from Chip on Clay. Pushed him through the corner. Just wants him to go a little bit faster. It's 2. That puts a big pressure on Chip. Dan trying to go at the inside as Chip picks up another 3-second time penalty for his troubles there. Dan's going to find himself moving up a good few places this evening as Dan picks. Did he have that 3 seconds? Just missed that. Josh as well will be moving up a couple of spots as well. Just 4 drivers now out of the 16, not with time penalties. Nice little battle in this midfield pack. Dan's going to try and move on Clay. Does make that move. Does Clay try and hang it round the inside of turn 2? Does, but look, no. Dan makes that move stick. Chip also trying to make the move on Clay, but just behind him, Josh and Harvey having a right old scrap. Harvey putting Josh under big pressure. He has got that time penalty though, so Josh knows not really to defend too hard. As Rick now got a 5-second gap lead to CDR. Luke out in front. Not seeing much of Rick this race. Started on pole position on the super softs. Managed to keep it out in front after turn 1 and 2. Pitted around lap 8, 9. I think he was the first one to pit. Dropped down the field and then started pumping fastest laps. After fastest lap, everybody else pitted. Now he's back up into P1 as we've got Were making it through on Luckman. Luckman trying to fight that move back. Goes a bit too deep into turn 1. As Kane picks a 10-second time penalty for track limits. Now that's a new one. Just 3 drivers now without warning, without penalties. Chip putting Josh Gaming under quite a bit of pressure, 4.5 temps behind through the double right-hander there. To the S section we go as Were picks up another 3 seconds. Harvey putting Chip under more pressure at the moment as Chip picks up another 3 seconds. That's 19 seconds of penalties for Chip. Oh, bit of wheel banging there. Harvey on Chip as that was a bit of contact with just Dave as Harvey came back on track there. And one of these guys calls to make a move up into turn 3. Now Josh has made it past Clay as well as just Dave retired some session. Got any battles? Yes, we do. Chip and Harvey still going at it. Chip trying to go up the inside, makes the move. Harvey hangs it round the outside. sideline. It goes a bit deep, trying to go side by side through the S's. Big move from Chip. Does he get that move done? He just has to back out. Harvey keeps that P10 spot. Great little battle from the two guys. We've got these two in front, Josh and Clay. Let's see. As we're on lap 19 of 20 now. Here's Nerfpack. Going to make the overtake on Chip. Chip tries to break the toe. He has got the DRS to defend, of course, but if you're going to try the move on Harvey instead, he does send it up the inside of Harvey. Makes that move. Nerfpack can't get through. Oh, Harvey taps the back of Chip there. That allows Nerfpack to go through. Harvey just didn't anticipate Chip to break just a bit earlier than he braked. It's just a racing incident in my opinion. Dan just in the middle. Little battle on his own there. Just a couple of seconds either side. Luckily for him, he is 3.9 seconds in front of Josh. So if he keeps it clean and tidy, he won't be losing any positions as Rick comes down the main straight for the final time this evening. Putting big pressure on Luke. Wants that P2 on track, not just in the steward's room. Does make that move up into turn 1. That promotes Harold up into P2. Luke just needs to try and stretch a 3-second gap in this final lap from Fake Scouser to stop him getting his first podium of the season. Not done too badly, starting from the back of the grid. He's up into P6. Nice point scoring week for him with that pretty poor qualifying. But Rick is coming round the final corner, takes the win in the sprint, takes the win in the feature race here in Mexico. I think that will put him at the top of the leaderboards. As we go into the third race, Harold does take P2. Luke, will he take P3? No, he doesn't. Fake Scouser, his first podium of the his CDR career, finishes P3. Luke just drops down to P4. Word moves up to P5. A lot of people with penalties dropping down the order. Kane crosses the line to round up the pack there. Go, Rick taking the top step once again tonight. 2 wins out of 2 for him this evening. So there we go. Round 2 over like that. Rick starting P1 takes the win. Harold P2. Fate Scouser first podium of the season for him. P3. Luke unfortunate with that time penalty to take P4 there. At the bottom end of the results, just DNFs from Richie, Max and Dave. Unfortunately, there'll be no interviews with the drivers tonight as I'm going straight to bed, me lads. I'm absolutely knackered. So, there we go. Well done to Rick, Harold and Scouser. Rick will be moving himself to the top of the Drivers' Championships. Still got plenty of races to go. Luke will be there hunting him down next week. So we'll after a bit of a terrible weekend for Richie, he'll want to bounce back next week in Silverstone. So, nice one for tuning in, boys. Tune in for Friday's F1. That's 8:30 for Tier 1 and 2. Sundays, 8 o'clock for Tier 3. Same time next week for the F2. Tuesdays, 8:30. Nice one for tuning in, boys. And I'll speak to you again same time next week. Bye-bye.